But let's go ahead and start at the top. We both have the Chargers number one
Mhm.
team in the AFC West. And I will say this: I have the Chargers number one, but I have it more due to talent than maybe how I think it'll translate onto the field in a sense.
For
Um,
sure.
the Chargers, I feel like many times I've said to myself the Chargers are the winner of the offseason, and then they don't produce in the regular season. Now,
They
not
do
saying that's
that.
going to be the same case this year, but I mean, Chargers, they got one of the best QBs in the NFL, Justin Herbert, probably top five QB in the NFL. Um, and I mean, last year, I mean, he played like a top five QB. They were, he was third in the league in passing yards, I believe. They were top five points per game. Um, but the one thing with their offense, not necessarily the offense itself, but I think Brandon Staley is a hell of a coach. But I do think the way he coaches will cost you early season games and probably playoff games eventually. He takes a lot of risks. Sometimes those risks, well, I think it's more of a season by season thing. Those risks are going to work out for you a lot. Some seasons you'll have a higher record because of it, or sometimes they're not going to work out for you, and you might miss the playoffs, kind of like last year because of it, right?
Mhm.
Because like he goes for like 4th and 8 in the first quarter on your own 30. Like some of that stuff's just not called for. I remember
Yeah.
doing that once last year. So his coaching style, it could definitely help. I think it's going to cause a team like the Chargers to either play a lot better or a lot worse than their actual talent itself. But based on
Yeah.
season by season, game by game.
So what I wrote for the Chargers is I wrote they're the best roster on paper in football right now, and I don't think it's close. You look at the
Football.
roster in football in the NFL. Obviously, I don't think XFL rosters are matching up, but the the roster is amazing. You look position by position, they have somebody that of a name that you know, or a high draft pick. So uh, on paper, they should be the best team in this division. But like you said, um, if they don't make the playoffs slash win the division, there's got to be an inside problem, meaning it's got to be coaching or the stats aren't showing the true player. Um, and Justin Herbert mainly, but I'm not knocking on Justin Herbert. It's just got to be an inside problem if they don't win a division this year because they do have the best roster in the NFL. I truly believe that all around. They have no weaknesses on paper. On paper doesn't mean anything. They could go out and lose any game, but they can't be losing those stupid games this year like they did last year. They had a couple dumb losses. They should be a playoff team and should win the division this year. There's no excuse for it.
Yeah, and I mean the one thing with the Chargers is at least when I'm comparing a team last year, like Austin Eckler is a great running back,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a much better pass catching running back than a actual running back itself. Right there, number 21 and 21st in the NFL last season in rushing yards. Think in order for them to be at their potential, they need a better balance between their passing offense and their rushing offense. Um, and also defensively. Now they did add. I mean, first of all, let's talk about their additions on defense because they made a lot of them. They added Khalil Mack, they added J.C. Jackson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Kyle Van Noy, and Bryce Callahan. My one problem with those is, I mean, a
Kyle
lot of
Van Noy.
those. Yeah, I mentioned Kyle Van Noy.
No,
Um,
yeah. Did you mention the problem with them? Kyle
uh,
Van Noy the problem.
but I wanted to say like their pass defense last year wasn't a big issue. They were
Mm-hmm.
like at the top third in the league last year in pass defense. Obviously, I think those additions should be able to definitely help. Khalil Mack should definitely help because they weren't very good at getting to the QB last year. But their big problem was their run defense, right? They
Mm-hmm.
were third worst run defense in the NFL. And Sebastian, they will help, but I don't think he will be able to fix that problem. So teams are going to be able to run all over him this year. And I mean, just thinking at the top of my head, I mean, I know the Broncos.
Khalil Mack's not a bad run defender either, though.
He's not, but he's definitely not what he used
He's
to be.
more of a
Back when he
pass
was with
rusher
the
for sure.
Raiders or even his early years with the Bears. He has declined a little bit. Not a huge fall off, but he has started to hit that decline. We'll see
Yeah,
how productive he is this year.
I have a question. Do they
Yep.
still have Chris Harris?
They lost Chris Harris.
They lost Chris Harris. What team did he go to? Or is still a free agent?
I think he's still a free agent. I know when I was looking some stuff up, and I know that I saw that he wasn't on the roster anymore.
Yeah, I saw that
don't,
too.
I don't know if he went anywhere though. But they got Bryce Callahan too.
They got Bryce Callahan. Yeah.
And obviously J.C. Jackson, Sante Samuel. I thought had a very good rookie season last year. And then
So who's? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Who's playing outside for them across from JC? Because
Asante Samuel.
I thought those were both two kind of slot corners. I know Bryce Callahan's a slot corner for sure.
I'm pretty sure on Celtics Samuel's going to play on the outside for them.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's a little
and
undersized, but yeah, I guess that works. He's a lockdown.
yeah, and then you got Derwin James back there. Maybe
Nasir Adderley.
Yeah, Nasir. I love Nasir Adderley coming out of Delaware, right?
Delaware, yep.
Yeah, but I mean, Derwin James is maybe the best defensive back in football, maybe right behind Jalen Ramsey. But like that guy is an absolute stud, in my opinion. Derwin James is an absolute stud. As long as he's on the field.
He's a stud, but I don't know about second best DB. I don't know about all that. There's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good ones, but I think he's the best safety. And I think Ramsey's the only one who might potentially be better DB than Derwin James. Like I said, as long as he's healthy, because he's obviously had his injury issues in his career. But yeah, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa will be a very good pass rushing duo. I just really wonder, like, I have to look up their schedule to go ahead and see like what type of teams they're playing this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if they're playing against teams with really good running backs, that could definitely be a big problem for them. Like, so I'm pull it up real quick if you have anything to say.
No, they have no reason not to win this division. It's ridiculous. The team they have.
I wouldn't say that.
No, they have no reason. I don't care. I know the Chiefs. I know it's the best division in football. I completely agree with you on that. But they have no reason. They have no reason. And we'll get into these other teams after this, but they have no reason on paper. And they're supposedly having the best coaches. They think Staley's a great coach. There's no reason for them not to be winning this division this year. They are head over heels better roster than any team in that division, and it's not close. They should win it. Every position has a player that had a great year before or was an all-pro at one point. They have an amazing roster on paper. Doesn't mean anything, but they need to prove that. They need to back up that roster on paper.
I didn't look at the schedule. They do play the Colts this year with Jonathan Taylor. They do play the Titans this year with Derrick Henry. They play the Browns this year with Nick Chubb. So they play arguably the top 3 running backs in football. They also do go up against the Niners as well, who we know is always very good at running the ball. Yeah. But besides those teams, they really don't play a lot of teams that give me too much worry running the ball. So maybe that won't be a major issue for them compared to last year. Mm-hmm. But that, and also just the ability, just them being so one-dimensional on offense, just passing the ball, Justin Herbert, especially with the O-line not being the best, that does give me some worry with the Chargers. Like, they might be the most talented team, but they might not be the best all-around team.
That's their one weakness is right tackle, but they do have that all-pro left tackle already. So, and
Sean Slater's a monster.
He's a monster, and he's younger than Justin Herbert, so that's just scary. So the Slater ain't going nowhere. You got Storm Norton at the right tackle. They cut Bulaga. So that's their one weakness on paper. I was going to talk about it, but that's not his blind side either, so I don't know how much that impacts. But still, they have Filer at the left guard, Zion Johnson at the right guard, and Corey Linsley at the center. So on paper, I mean, Filer's okay. Zion Johnson was one of my favorite guards in the draft, probably my favorite guard in the draft.
We have to wait and see how he plays.
Yeah, for sure. And then Corey Linsley is an all-pro. So they should, on paper, be fine. It's just different.
They should be improved. They should be improved.
For sure.
But obviously, it's a wait and see thing with that. And also, they'll add Gerald Everett to the tight end room. Should be a nice little addition for them to be next to Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
They also got McKitty and Parham.
They had him already, though. Don't up on him.
Huh?
They already had him, though.
I know. I was just saying that's who they have in the tight end room. Who they had last year? Jared Cook?
Yeah.
He didn't get signed either. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Gerald Everett, but it's whatever. I don't think you need an explosive tight end in an offense like that.